Mr. Clevenger. Oh, there we are. I appreciate the seniors. They all wanted to stand in my honor when I came up here today, just like we do in class, huh, you guys? Yeah, 8 a.m. every morning, the looks that I get. I'm probably the only one who knows what you parents feel like in the morning. Anyhow, welcome to the Baccalaureate Service for the graduating class of 2024. You who are their parents and relatives who are here supporting them, as well as faculty. I know why you're here. We know them well. I've had the privilege of teaching all of them and actually passing all of them. I've also had the privilege of traveling with, I think, most of them across the United States and seeing them in a whole nother light. And I could share stories with you today, and we're not going to do that because this is, but they are a class with a lot of life, a class that you never know what to expect, and a class that has been a great blessing to us here at Rio Hondo Prep. We'd like to start this evening with a word of prayer. So would you please bow your heads. Lord, we are so thankful for each one of these families and those who have come here today to support. We are thankful for each one of these seniors. They are each individuals, each precious to you. We know, Lord, that you do have a perfect plan for each one of them. In your love, you've watched them grow and mature over the years. I know this evening that there's a number of people here who love them dearly, but help us to remember that you love them more. So today, Lord, we pray for our time together, that this service will be pleasing to you in every way, and we ask this in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, we are going to have some singing. Would you please stand?
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. In all my days, I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, and I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire and darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. It's running after me. Your goodness is running after. It's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after. It's running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. Spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it, so you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it, till you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. No shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me. Miles to win the race of life, but what's the value without you? I could write 1,000 songs to captivate your heart, but more than offerings, would you seek the depths of me when you see me? You see my heart through the eyes of your mercy, in the light of your Son, and you love me with open arms and the pride of a father. Was once a prodigal, burdened by my shame, till you came running to remind me your love is unconditional, and in your eyes I'm worthy of forgiveness. What was lost is now redeemed. When you see me, you see my heart through the eyes of your mercy, in the light of your Son, and you love me with open arms and the pride of a father. Who am I that you love me? Who am I that you save my soul? Who am I without you, Lord? Who am I to be worthy? Who am I that you're mindful of me? Who am I that you call me yours? Who am I that you love me? Who am I that you save my soul? Who am I without you, Lord? Who am I to be worthy? Who am I that you're mindful of me? Who am I that you call me yours? When you see me, you see my heart through the eyes of your mercy, in the light of your Son, and you love me with open arms and the pride of a father. When you see me, you see my heart through the eyes of your mercy, in the light of your Son, and you love me with open arms and the pride
You may be seated.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I want to introduce our speaker, Jonathan Franklin. Jonathan Franklin is a Los Angeles native, currently in his 8th season for the Los Angeles Rams as the Director of Social Justice and Football Development. Franklin had a standout career at UCLA and still holds 4 records, including being the Bruins leader in all-purpose and career rushing yards. He was selected in the 4th round of the NFL draft by the Green Bay Packers, where he played for 1 season. After his playing career, Franklin interned with the Packers organization before joining the University of Notre Dame as an administrator for student welfare and development. Franklin graduated with honors from UCLA, majoring in political science, became a recipient of UCLA Chancellor's Marshall Award, and was named the UCLA Alumnus of the Year in 2020. He is also a recent graduate of the Stanford's NFL League of Leaders program through Stanford's Graduate School of Business, and serves as a board member to various organizations such as the Greater Conejo Valley Chamber of Commerce and the Pac-12 Alumni Advisory Council. Most importantly, Jonathan Franklin is a man of God and a man of faith, and we're blessed that he can join us this evening. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Jonathan Franklin.
Thank you, appreciate you. Should I use this mic? Hello, check, check. Can you all hear me? Nice. Well, good evening. How's it going? Awesome. Well, we can clap. Why not, right? It's Sunday. We're here. We're celebrating incredible young men and women, and congratulations for making it through 12 years of school to this time. And it's an incredible milestone, as now life is going to take you all through different pathways. Leading you to really define who you are and really becoming who God has ultimately called you to be. And throughout my life, I realized one of the greatest teachers of everything is life. Right? Many times we can easily provide perspective and advice to individuals, but the reality is life always teaches us. And it's interesting, I was listening to the songs. The first 2 songs talked about how God is so good to us. And many times in life, good for all of us, it can be subjective, where we can have our own definition of what good truly is. And when we're going through the challenging times, we don't necessarily always see that moment as good. But the reality is, it's always good in God's eyes, that he's putting us through these circumstances for us to be refined and to develop the character that's necessary so we can be the vessels that he has desired us to be. And I would love to, share my story and just the goodness of God is how he's been able to bring me to where I am today, but also some practicals that I've been able to learn through the journey now being with the Los Angeles Rams. And it's so interesting, you know, I recall hearing a story of a homeless man he was speaking. And the question was, very bluntly, is what happened? How did you get there to being homeless? And he responded with a really interesting response. And he began to mention how he had passions, he had desires in life. He woke up working as hard as he could. He believed that he could be the best version of himself every day that the alarm clock went off. But one day, he said life happened. And we said, life happened, what do you mean by that? He said, well, one day there was a moment where there was a circumstance, there was adversity that was bigger than his purpose, bigger than his why. And that moment of adversity led him to forget everything that he once believed in. It questioned his identity, it questioned his purpose, it questioned who he saw himself in the mirror. And the reality is, regardless of how young, how old we will be, we will all have those moments of life happening, where life will get us to question everything that we once lived for. And I would love to share one of those moments that happened to me. And I'm a LA native, I was mentioned. I started playing football at 10 years old and fell in love with the game. and had the opportunity to go to a local high school, Dorsey High School, and was blessed to receive a scholarship early on my sophomore year to go to UCLA, which I believe is the greatest university in the world. There we go. But I don't want no beef from any Trojans. Right, there we go. I knew it was coming. I'm going to pray for you, though, brother. I'm going to pray for you. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, was able to go to UCLA and majored in political science, had an opportunity during my sophomore year to intern with the former mayor, Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa. That led me to want to major in poli-sci. As a young kid at UCLA, they used to call me the mayor because I had a goal of becoming the mayor of Los Angeles one day. But my focus was on football during that time. I had the opportunity to be the first one in my family to go to college. My mom didn't graduate from high school, and football for me was an opportunity to really open a lot of doors for people within my community and my family. And was blessed to graduate from UCLA, breaking 4 records, holding them all still today, as you heard. And I was drafted by the Green Bay Packers. And for me, I thought I was going to play in the NFL for years to come. And I remember even week 3, we were playing the Cincinnati Bengals. And Eddie Lacy, he was our running back at the time, but he was out due to a concussion. And James Starks started this game. And I remember the second play before the half, James gets hit on his knee. He has a knee sprain. He's out the rest of the game. So we go into halftime, and our head coach, Mike McCarthy, comes up to me. He goes, "Jonathan, it's your time." So I'm in the locker room. I'm excited, about to be my first NFL game on national television against the Cincinnati Bengals. And we go out in the second half, and I'm able to run for over 100 yards, scoring a touchdown, having the most yards in a game by a rookie in Green Bay Packer history. And I think this is it. This is my moment. This will never end. Well, let's fast forward to week 12. Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Lambeau Field, playing for playoffs. First play of the game, first quarter, the ball is kicked, and I catch it. I'm back at kick return, and I'm running to the 5, to the 10, to the 15. I get hit on the crown of my helmet, fumble, the ball comes out. So I'm laying on the ground, knowing I need to pick up the ball as soon as I can. And as I attempt to move to pick up the ball, I realize I'm completely paralyzed from my neck down. Couldn't move an inch. So I'm laying on the ground, thinking, what's next? How did I get here? Would I ever move again? And after a few moments go by, I get a tingly feeling from my fingers, from my shoulders, and I'm slowly able to get up. You would imagine the doctor sent me into the locker room. As I'm walking into the locker room, I look back, and little did I know that'll be my last time ever playing in NFL. I was forced to medically retire due to a spinal contusion, for the doctor said if I got hit again, I'll be paralyzed for the rest of my life. Life happened for me. For me, football was everything. It was my purpose. It was my identity. It was my why. Everything that I did was all about football. But now as I look back, what I truly believe many times was the worst moment of my life has now become the biggest blessings. Because many times when you can hear that a young man at 22 years old was playing football and was paralyzed and his career ending, how could that ever be good? But yet God knew that football was taking the place where he should have been in. And God took football away to allow me to go on the journey of truly finding and discovering who he was and finding who Jonathan was called to be. And for so many moments when football ended, I didn't know who that man in the mirror was. But I had to really find comfort in the uncomfort. And that time of football being taken away put me in those moments to really discover who I was. And if I would have continued playing football, I would never have discovered the man that I'm standing here in front of you today as. And that's the good, right? Many times in moments where life happened, we can question why. But yet God allowed an injury to allow me to become a Christian, to allow me to become a disciple, to allow me to become baptized, to allow me to be married now, expecting my first child here in July. And it's so many things that God does for the greater good. And I'm sure there will be many moments in each and every one of your lives where life will happen. And there will be a circumstance and there will be a moment of adversity that questions everything that you believe in. It questions your worth. It questions your value. And I will encourage you, just as a song, to never lose sight of God's faithfulness. To never lose sight that God is always doing what he believes is good for the greater good of our eyes, so we can truly live out the purpose that he called us to live out. And there was a few things that I've learned along the journey that I would love to share with you all. And I think the first thing is just trusting that you are always enough. And I recall hearing a story about a lion. And as we know, the lion, time and time again, we hear is the king of the jungle. And when you think about the lion is not the biggest animal in the jungle. The elephant is. And it's not the tallest, the giraffe is. Of course, it's not the fastest, as you know, the cheetah is. And there was a list put out of the top 10 strongest animals, but the lion wasn't on that list. But yet, time and time again, we always refer to the lion as the king. But yet, it's not the best in anything. The lion never compares itself to the elephant, the cheetah, the giraffe, or any of the animals that's stronger. The lion always knows that it's enough to conquer whatever environment it walks into. And what I realized when the game was taken away, that I didn't have to go out and compare myself to other people. As we know, comparison could be the thief of joy, the thief of hope, the thief of confidence. And many times when we compare ourselves to others, we lose sight of truly who we are and who we're called to be. But what I love about the lion is the lion knows it has exactly what it needs to dominate, to conquer the moment. And many times life will always put us in positions to sometimes question if we are enough, to question if we should be like somebody else, if we should think like somebody else, if we need to be the best in this particular category. And what I love about the lion is the lion breaks all those stigmas about comparison, about being the best versus someone else. The lion is just the lion. It walks in exactly what it has, and it dominates time and time again. And the first thing I just really want to leave you all with, what I've been able to learn, is just always know that you're enough, regardless of the life circumstance that you go through, regardless of the adversity that you face, regardless of what room that you're in, who may be smarter, taller, faster, those that you're continuing playing, who may be better in your particular sport. Know that as long as you choose to be who you are, that will always be enough. And that will always be good enough to take you to where you're called to be. The second thing I want to leave you with is always being intentional with creating the environment to pull out your purpose. You know, when you think about a seed, even, driving in here, all those trees, they all started with a seed, right, being planted in the ground. But the reality is, if I were to put a seed on this podium, regardless of the purpose that it has, nothing will be done. I can even water it. I can put sun, find a way to get some sun inside, but nothing will change, regardless of the purpose that it has inside. And the reality is, because the seed wasn't meant to just live on this podium. But what needs to happen is, it needs to be an environment surrounded by soil. And that soil has exactly what it needs to produce the seed to live out the purpose that was meant to live it out. And it causes the seed to die, and ultimately the root comes and the tree begins to grow. And in life, as you go on and graduate, I want to encourage you all to always be mindful of the environment that you're in, the friends that you have, the way that you're managing your time, the things that you're reading, the things that you're watching. And is your environment truly challenging you to be the best version of you? Is the environment that you're in bringing out the purpose that you were called to live out in life? So many times it can be easy just to go through life, just to have a good time. But yet each and every one of you have been given a different purpose. And just like the seed, regardless of the purpose that's inside of it, it needs the right environment to truly produce it so it can grow to what it's been given. And as you graduate, I think it's just always remembering what are those things around you, who are those people around you that's pushing you to grow, to live out the purpose that God has given you as well. And just a few things before I wrap up here. One of my favorite quotes is by John C. Maxwell. And it goes, "Life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes you." And the significance of making consistent choices each and every day, that's connected to your why. That's connected to your purpose. And if we don't make those choices that leads us to our why, that leads us to who we want to become, we'll never get there. And every time I hear that quote, I always think about the Chinese bamboo tree. And the Chinese bamboo tree is one of the strongest trees in the world, stronger than steel, and it can withstand compressions even beyond concrete. And when a bamboo tree is planted, it takes 5 years to grow underground before anything sprouts above. 5 years. of just focusing on the foundation, focusing on the roots, and doing what's necessary for it to really be what it's called to. And after those 5 years, and just within 5 weeks, the Chinese bamboo tree sprouts over 80 feet in a year. And it's one of the strongest trees, as I mentioned, in the world. And the reason the Chinese tree is known for that is because of that consistency of 5 years of just building the foundation. And many times when we make choices and we don't see the results, we want to change. We think we should redirect or pivot, or we question our abilities, we question our worth. But what we learn about the Chinese bamboo tree is consistency is the answer to everything. And as long as you make consistent choices that's tailored to your why, that's tailored to your purpose, one day you will reach the destiny that God has set for you all. And lastly, we'd love to close out with a verse here in Mark chapter 1. And I'll read it for you all. I'll read Mark chapter 1. I'm going to read it, verse 16. It says, as Jesus walked beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and his brother Andrew casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. Come follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. At once they left their nets and followed Jesus. And I love this verse, and this is ultimately the calling of the first disciples here. And at this time, John is in prison, but yet his disciples were prophesying about Jesus. And Jesus has this interaction with them. It's the first time that Jesus is calling them to an action. He's calling them to follow him. And these disciples, they had their own professional jobs. They were all fishermen. And what gets me every time in verse 18, when Jesus calls them to follow him, it says, at once they left their nets and followed him. And many times you can ask the question, how could these men be so willing to leave their jobs, given they had families, leave what they thought was their purpose to follow Jesus? And what Jesus was doing here was, one, giving them an internal purpose. You know, so many times the world can tell us that our purpose is to make tons of money, to own tons of houses, to be as successful as we can possibly be. But the reality is, regardless of what we gain in this world, we can't take nothing to heaven. But what Jesus was giving them was an internal purpose, to go out and fish for people, to go out and make disciples so you can bring as many people to heaven with you. And the world every day will challenge the very thing that the Bible teaches you. The majority of the world may not want to seek God, may question your beliefs, may question your foundation, may question your integrity, your purity, your holiness, and it might not be the cool thing to do. But the beauty of the disciples were they at once left. They were convinced that this was the greatest thing they could possibly ever live for. And I want to encourage you, regardless of what happens moving forward today, to never forget the purpose that Jesus has given you. To go out and make disciples, to share your faith, is bring as many people as you can closer to the kingdom of heaven. This is ultimately our purpose of life. Many times we can think the talents and the skills are for a career, are for professional living, and although that's great, that's not our only purpose in life. So as you create your pathways and build your foundation, never forget the true calling of where God is taking you. That every room that you walk into, you are the walking Bible that people need. You are the answers to the problems, to the solutions. You are who God has called you to be, to save as many souls as possible. So embrace the journey that God is taking you through. Know that you're always enough. Continuously be intentional with the environment that you set to really live out the purpose that God is calling you to, and never lose sight of making disciples and bringing people to heaven. Thank you all so much, and go Rams.
concludes our service. Thank you for coming. Seniors, ask that you guys would come back up for a picture with our speaker, and we'll take a few more pictures. And then for those of you going to the baccalaureate dinner, try to head out as soon as possible, so food's getting cold. But again, thank you for coming.